Well, is there any end in sight for the Chiefs' dominance out in the AFC West? I know there's some pretty good teams out there, but I don't know that anyone's ready yet to contend with the almighty Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and that ridiculous defense combo. But I guess we'll kind of try to figure that out today and sort through the odds of that all happening. So, that being said, this is We Are the Game. My name's Luke, and that's Michael. Not in his normal office today, but that's okay. We're going to make things work. We're going to get into the AFC West power rankings, predictions, win prediction total, that kind of idea. So here we go. Let's get things started. Tell me about what you think with the not Oakland, but Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, your opening question of, who's going to try to knock Kansas City off their perch there. I don't think that the Raiders are quite there. Obviously, they've made a huge number of kind of moves during the offseason, kind of redefining themselves. But I don't think we have any idea what that is. It'll be really interesting to see that Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, Geno Smith, kind of move there. When Geno was in Seattle, I think we didn't know what to think then. And so similarly here, it's like, obviously, I think he handled things really well in Seattle. I think he did a good job. And I would expect him to bring those same kind of strengths here to the Raiders. He's got some tools. I think everyone in the league is jealous of Brock Bowers being on the team. I don't think anyone really knows exactly what to expect at the NFL level from Ashton Janty, but he's exciting to have out there. And then he's got some wide receiver options, as far as Jacoby Myers and the guy they drafted out of TCU. So I do expect them to score more points. And that would be true even if it was the exact same people with Geno Smith and we're just under Pete Carroll. I think he's a good coach. I think he'll find ways to get new things out of them. But they only scored 309 points last year, and it's a question of how much can they improve? Can they improve 20% kind of a thing? 50% even would be wild. So 20%, 30%, let's see how they do. But yeah, the question that I have with that team is their defense. They gave up 430 some points last season. They've got Max still and all that, but can they really hold people down? I don't think that the answer is going to be that they do that very often. They had 4 wins last season. I am going to move them up to the 5 to 9 win category. I do think they're going to be a better team. I think they're going to give up less points. I think they're going to score more points. But I do not think they're going to challenge the Chiefs or, frankly, many of their other division competitors. But let's talk about the Chiefs. Maybe I've misassessed them. What do you think about the Chiefs and where they'll end up at the end of this season? You think they pull off another 15-win season?
It's hard to suggest any otherwise. They are really consistent. I will say the last time they lost the Super Bowl, if you believe in such things, they didn't make the Super Bowl the next year. They got ousted by the Bengals in the championship round. So it's possible, but I think they still had, oh gosh, I should have looked this up. I think they still had 13 or 14 wins that year. The Bengals just got them. They started calling it Burrowwood for that Chiefs Stadium name. And so it's just we'll see. They haven't had the most impressive offense the last couple of years. Their defense has been carrying the load, but we know what Patrick Mahomes can be when he's armed correctly. So if they get back to that point, then yeah, they're just going to be absolutely devastating, even more than they already are. So I'd love to be honestly the guy who's like, yep, this is it. This is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and then they're just going to fall right off. And I don't have any confidence in that idea whatsoever. So, I mean, they should still be. I can't even put them in the 8 to 12. Like they have to be up here. I think 11 is their floor. I mean, heck, 12 may be their floor. And like within every other team, and this is predicting relative health. So, obviously, big quarterback goes down, then everything changes. But relative health, yeah, they'll be right back up there again. Yeah, it's just sorry, it's more of the same, everyone. I have a feeling it's just going to be more of the same. I look forward to the turnover in the AFC West at some point. But maybe another team steps up and takes over. But I don't know that it's going to be tough sledding this year. So That being said, what do you see? Give me the Broncos. Like, are they going to be able to challenge?
Yeah, I think we were both kind of, I don't know that we started the season off that way, but I think as the season went on last year, we both kind of became, kind of jumped on the Broncos wagon. Yeah, I think we all knew that they had a good defense. I think one of the reasons that the Chiefs have not scored as prolifically as they have in the past is the defense of the Chargers and the Broncos and how consistent they've been. And I think that they'll be every bit that this season, if not more, with the addition of Greenlaw, Afanga. Pat Surtain looks amazing, right? And now they picked up that first round pick, Jade Barron. If he's anything like Surtain, they'll end up with a corner group that's a lot like the one I wanted to see in Dallas a couple years ago, where they can really shut down a lot of the passing game. So I think their defense has the potential to be even more stifling in that regard. On offense, they had a good offense. I think that's the thing with Bo Nix. I think we were pleasantly surprised with is how he carried himself, but how that offense worked out. I mean, they had the best point differential in that division by 10 or 15 points, and probably 70 points, 60 points over Kansas City last year. They split their games with Kansas, and the one they lost, I think, was a field goal kind of game. Maybe it was a touchdown game. So it's like they're in the fight in the games, and now they've added Evan Ingram, which I'm really not 100% sure what all he's got left in the tank, what he's going to provide. But I have faith that Sean Payton's going to get the most out of him. Pat Bryant, the guy out of Illinois that they got, I kind of expect to see him challenge Mims for kind of that 2 spot in their wide receiver core and see how that works out. But I think they're going to, and RJ Harvey, which my thing with small running backs. I'm not the biggest believer out of that, but I think it fits with Sean Payton to kind of go that route. So I'll be interested to see what he brings to that table as well. But I'm actually really excited to see the Broncos this season and how they work. Do I think that they can challenge Kansas City? Yeah, I do. I don't think they got any worse. I think they got better. It's just, can Bo evolve? Now that Sean's seen what they can do, can they evolve one step further? I am probably going to put this team in the 11-17 category. I think if their defense is going to stay as strong as they are and their offense is going to continue to produce, I think they're actually going to be running up there with Kansas City. Maybe they're not taking over Kansas City's spot, but maybe they're taking more of that Chargers spot from the past. Now, and a perfect opportunity to disagree with that, what do you see in the Chargers?
Well, the Chargers were a surprise for different reasons last year. The Broncos and the Chargers both surprised for me. It was the Broncos was all about Bo Nix stepping up and just being great year one.
Yeah.
The Chargers, they've had Justin Herbert for a minute now, but them coming in, all these changes, coming into a roster that had been plagued by injuries for seemed like a decade, and Jim Harbaugh just changing that culture overnight. They had dropped. They dropped what, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, I think, in the same year.
Yep.
And added this little guy, little lad McConkey, and all this. And I was like, well, let's see what this looks like. And man, they actually played quite well. They were carried, I'd say, most of the time by their defense, but their offense was certainly good enough. And that's, I think, what we're liable to see more of this year. I've said it too many times probably, but I agree with the sentiment that it's hard to be an elite top 5 defense year after year. Some teams have been able to pull it off, but it's kind of rare. So I think their defense might come down just a little, not terrible. They're not going to turn into the Cardinals, but it should be better, or it should come down just a little bit. But their offense, I think, is going to just continue to grow. I really like the running back. I've talked about him ad nauseum, the Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
He, for me, I liked him even more than Ashton Janty. I'm probably in the gross minority there, but I just really liked his explosiveness. I think Harbaugh's going to enjoy using him. They also brought in Najee Harris to kind of be like their, I don't know, goal line trucker. I don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly how they use him. But yeah, that should be really fun. Their draft mostly approached from the defensive side of the ball, it seems. And that makes sense. They were starting to get a bit older on that side of the ball. You got guys like Khalil Mack, I think is 36 years old now. He's still producing. He's still playing really, really well. but
Right.
he's getting up there in years. You can't count on that forever. So I like what they're doing, but I kind of see them as treading water, to be honest. The rest of their division looks really good. I don't see any way the Raiders got any worse. I already mentioned how I said, the Chiefs, they should still be really great. And I don't disagree with you about the Broncos. So I think that they may have gotten a little bit lucky last year, the Chargers, with just how some of their health fell and things like that, and just things clicking really fast. And I could see just the slightest amount of kind of like regression offset by growth to kind of leave them exactly where they were. So if they went 10-7 again, that is exactly where I would see them being. So I'll just have them right there. But yeah, no, the reason I would agree with this real quick. The Broncos being over the Chargers, not just in wins loss, but in ability to maybe try to take a shot at winning that division.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders actually play the Chiefs relatively well. They're just terrible for the rest of the year. And the Broncos, you're right. I believe they beat them in week 18. Granted, I'm not sure how many of the Chiefs starters were playing, but still. And then it was a missed field goal or blocked field goal or something like that was the other game. So they play the Chiefs really tough. So they have the best shot. But the Chargers, they should still be really good. I'm excited to see that run game going in particular. So, but they'll be a lot of fun.
Well, especially with how will that run game affect Herbert and his ability to not feel the pressure all the time and be able to shake things up a bit. Yeah, I think that'll be very interesting to see. Plus, taking a little bit of damage off of McConkey getting the ball all the time, so that'll be good as well. Yeah, I'll be very interested to see. The other thing that the Chargers did really well last season was play the Broncos. I think they won both of those. So
really,
yeah, it's that whole interdivision thing, right? Everybody plays everybody hard.
Rock, paper, scissors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good times. So yeah, I mean, I think this is about where I'd see things. I agree with you on the Raiders too. Just while we're here, like I think that they should be better, but it might take a year for that culture to really set in and get established. But I do like the moves they made. I'm not the biggest Chip Kelly believer, but outside of that, Pete Carroll, I begrudgingly concede that he runs a good show. So we'll see what they can do. But that'll wrap up the AFC West. Next week we'll go north, I believe. So that's always a fun division to talk about. I'm excited for that one. So, but a real quick thank you to everyone who subscribed and clicked on various things. We are much appreciated. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers by the start of the season. And we'd appreciate anyone who's willing to give us a subscribe and maybe a like or any of those things. Tell us what you think of the division. If there's one of these teams that's going to jump up and take over, if the Chiefs are poised to collapse and we just missed it, that is very possible. And I'm kind of hoping you come up with a good theory. But let us know, and we will see you all next time. Have a great rest of the day.